Welcome to the talk show where men unite. We're having conversations that inspire and ignite, from relationships to wellness. We cover it all.
Welcome back to another episode of the Men's Talk Show, Season 2, Episode 2. We're so glad to have you with us. Wayne and Daron are here. Before we get started, we got some unfortunate news that Chris will no longer be with us as part of the show. Chris wants to take some time to be with his family, and big ups to him for being there and being the strong man to take care of his family. We appreciate Chris's time on the show, man. He has some great conversations and insights, and hopefully he can come back one day. So last week we talked about body dysmorphia and some ways you men can get over that, and we're going to kind of segue that into how men overcome and deal with their own personal flaws. And so on the first part, you think about flaw is, I'm short, or I'm, don't like my ears, right? Those are physical flaws. We're going to dig into deeper more. So some common ones that I thought about. So on Massachusetts government website, Mass Men, issues faced by men and flaws. So we got mental health challenges, addiction and gambling problems, workplace challenges, relationship conflict, racism, housing and financial insecurity. So, Daron, what do you think about some of those?
Yeah, I think a lot of men, like we had previously on our episode, season 1, where this one homeless guy, he was battling with a lot of issues where he couldn't find a place to live and things to that nature. But I think that overall that if you keep finding like the right resources for particular homelessness and things to that nature, that that's not necessarily that you have to look down at yourself. I think if you just keep checking with the right people and asking for support, you should never feel ashamed of who you are as an individual. We all have flaws that we endure in our life that some people don't like being tall. Some people, feel guilty because they're not, financially well off more than others. But I think the way to come to overbracing is to say, I have these flaws, and I'm not okay with it, but I'm working towards it to keep helping myself to overcome some of these flaws that I have. Like me particularly, I don't like that I'm overweight, and that's a flaw, but also at the same time, I'm not gonna sit there and pick myself apart just because, that's just the way it is. Like I said, to overcome some of those challenges, if you are, overweight, make sure you're eating a good diet, make sure you're exercising, do as much as you can on your end, so you don't think of yourself as a flaw, but think of it as a challenge to overcome and to conquer. For all my men that's, struggling. And on the flip side, like we said, being skinny, it's nothing to be ashamed about that. That's just the way your body is. You can't physically change that,
Yeah. So let's talk about, let's try to get away from the body floss. I think we talked about it a bit last week. So now, I guess I want to talk about, so let's talk about first like mental health challenge. So not particularly like mental retardation, but like this mental health challenge when you deal with anxiety or depression, right? This is the reason why we started this show is because a lot of men are dealing with anxiety, depression, things like that, and they have no outlet. So that's what a mental health challenge is we're going to talk about right now. And so when dealing with anxiety, that's one thing that this show helps us, being able to have this avenue to release. And in the comments, we see you guys out there and you're posting like, man, keep doing what you're doing, and make me feel good just to go in there and see that I'm not the only one going through this. So what's some other ways you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of that. It's hard to overcome those particular challenges in your life because a lot of men do struggle with depression and anxiety. But I think that's common in life. You're going to go through those things. It's no way to. It's always going to be a problem in your life. That's just the way it is. But I think if you are, just working on yourself, I think that's going to be something great. You're just going to have to keep
So some of the ways that men can get over it, is one, like you said, find an outlet. So the men's talk show is an outlet. Just know that you're not the only person dealing with that. Just to know that may help you as well. Knowing that there's other men who are going through the same situation. So find an outlet, find somebody to talk to, get involved in an organization. That's one thing that Chris did. Previously when he had issues, there was a men's talk group that he was at in Canada, and they would just talk about their issues and help each other out. Also too, if it's really bad, the anxiety and depression, perhaps you may have to go see a doctor who are a professional who can help you get over those challenges as well, because it's a flaw, but it's not something that should hold you down and ruin your life. You can overcome it. You just gotta find a healthier way to do it. And another one that shows up on here is like, if you have bipolar disorder, you may think you just have crazy mood swings, but a professional may be able to clinically diagnose you with bipolar disorder, which gets you on the right medication, and you've overcome that flaws. Now it's not something that's going to, like an anchor, hold you down for the rest of your life. And let's talk about how relationships, flaws that we may have in relationships make the relationship better.
Yeah, a lot of times, young women love men that have money. And sometimes when you are, not financially well off, that can come across as, he's lazy, he doesn't want to provide. But no, he could just literally be struggling because he don't have the resources to provide for you. And that's not something that, you want to beat yourself up about. I think that if you don't have a lot of money, you probably might be in the wrong relationship. And that's where
right. Yeah, because, guys in their early 20s, they're getting compared to rap stars, NBA, NFL athletes who are their same age group, but obviously they're well off financially, movie stars, and so women see like that, like that's what they want. They want the guy that's, 6 feet tall and it's got all this money, can take them on trips, stuff like that. And like at 22, 23, 24 years old, that's like not even half of 1% of all men out there, right? So if you're in your early 20s and you don't have the money like that to go get a Bentley or buy this Coach bag or whatever, it's okay. Like those things are for later in life when you're financially stable. So if you're delaying enjoying life because you feel like that's a flaw that you're not rich and you're not financially stable, just know that you're not the only one who out there struggling. Like, we're all working towards something. As long as you're progressing, that's the right woman will definitely appreciate it. Yeah. Or man, woman or man will appreciate it.
And I think a lot of guys, like, not to sound vulgar or anything like that, but I think a lot of guys compare, themselves to other guys, like, who is, who has the bigger, what in bed and stuff like that. And that can be another flaw that, guys beat themselves up for. I'm not big enough that she wants and stuff like that. But no, like, that's all superficial shit. It really is. It's not something that, you just have to find another girl to be with, in my opinion, if she's very superficial and shallow about all of that. Because there's nothing you can do to control the size of your, penis and stuff like that. It's really nothing you can do about that. And if you think that if you look at that as a flaw, then we shouldn't worry about it.
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. There's nothing you can do about that. And I tell you what, nothing's more eye-opening. Nothing's more eye-opening, literally, when you go to a military boot camp. Or if you're on a football team or basketball team or something, because when you first get to boot camp, you're like, all right, everybody take your clothes off, go take a shower. And you're like, it's like, man, this is it. It's like, I don't even know these guys. Like, stuff. And then over the 8 weeks, over the 8 weeks, it's like, yes, some guys have huge ones, some guys have small ones. Like, you can't really control it. And you just realize, like, nobody's judging you. Really, honestly, no one's judging you for what you have, because that's at the end of it, it's between you and your partner. And there's some girls who like huge ones, and there's some girls that don't like huge ones because they hurt. So and then what you see on pornography and things like that, it's not real life. Like not everybody's like that too. So
all that shit is fake. So
yeah, just know that if that's truly a flaw that you're dealing with, like, and it hurts you because that will impact you relationship wise. Maybe you're afraid to approach girls because of what you feel is inadequate. And really, like if you just gotta what I'm trying to say, like you said, you gotta find the right one for you. Some may like it, some may not.
yeah.
So
Yes, I mean it's always going to be a lot of. It's always, I used to didn't like when I would talk too much. That's another flaw that was mine. It's like I would talk too much repetitively and never listen to what other people had to say. And at first I was like, oh yeah, no, that's not me, but that was me, and I had to take a step back. And if more people keep telling you the same thing about yourself over and over and over again, then that's something you need to work on. That's not something that you need to deflect and to say like, oh, everybody's out to get me. If more than 5 people tell you about the same thing about yourself, ding ding ding, maybe they got a point that you're not recognizing and that you're not being self-aware.
That's what we do as young men, and some they don't figure out this out until later. Like, but yeah, as young men, we have that ego. Like, man, they just trying to get me, or they're just haters. They're just out to get me. We always feel like it's me against the world. Like Tupac said, but it's really not like that. It's really not like that. Me against the world. Like most people, especially people in your circle, they're trying to make you better. But you don't want to hear it because you feel like your way is the best way sometimes.
Yeah. So how can we overcome flaws though? Like, do we just embrace them and accept them? Or do we really work hard so they can't be a flaw anymore? Obviously, you can't do nothing about being short or you don't have, a big size, Like, you can't, that's something that you can't change physiologically. That's part of it.
Let's pick on what you talked about. You said you don't like when people say you talk too much. So what are some ways that you overcame that?
I learned to shut up sometimes and listen to the whole conversation before I insert myself. Because a lot of people told me that, and I was like, man, this person is just being mean. Man, this person just don't like when I have to talk. But no, because I learned over time as I talk less or listen to respond and not listen to reply and not to respond, or however that saying goes. I learned that if I listen to everything that they heard them out thoroughly, then I can insert my own thoughts into what they were saying. And I feel like that worked out better for me personally in my personal life. Then had I just kept talking throughout the whole conversation while they was talking, first of all, that's rude. And second of all, you might not hear exactly what they're trying to say or convey if you just talk right in the middle. So I had to really work on that. I talk less now. I let people talk as much as they want to, and then I'll just insert after the conversation is done. And I feel like sometimes I do want to inject when I have a thought, because my mind is so quick to dissect what they just said without hearing them fully. But I learned to kind of step back and just listen to everything.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely dead on. For me, it was opposite. When I was younger, I was afraid to talk to people. Especially girls, of course. I was very shy when talking to girls throughout my whole high school, and I was friends with a lot of girls, like most of the girls I was friends with. But it was always like when I wanted to have a romantic relationship, I was always hesitant to speak. I feel like I don't know what to say. Do they like me? Maybe I'm just not sure. This and that. I would play out the whole conversation in my head. Like, oh, I'm going to say this, and they're going to say that, and they're going to say this, and they're going to say that, and then they're not going to like me. And so I didn't have the whole conversation in my head with this girl before I even approach her. And so I've already shot myself down. So then I go up, and somehow muster the strength, and I'm like, and she's like weird. I'm not weird. So in high school, the way I would get girls is I would just be friends with them forever, and then just wait for an opportunity and like, hey, I'm here. I would work sometimes, but and I was like that for a while until like 25, and then I just hit a switch and decided I'm gonna overcome this by kind of faking it till you make it. Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. I don't believe in overcoming. I mean, if you have like a speech impediment or you have something that's physically blocking you from having success in life, then yes, you have to work hard on yourself to get to it. I didn't like, because this is another flaw that I don't really tell much people, that I don't really tell a lot of people about, but I was in slow classes before. Obviously, you couldn't see that now because I'm well educated and I took a lot of classes and I advanced myself. But that's the one flaw that I used to hate when I was in high school, because they would pull me out of regular classes and take me into these secluded classes where, kind of like the dumb kids or the people that were slow. I hated that so much. So what I did was, anytime the teacher asked me a question, I answered it. I stayed after school to do extra work. I made it seem like I was smarter. I was really clever. But that was one of the flaws that I had, because I didn't want people to catch on and say, oh, he's slow or he's retarded, he has to go in these other classes, he can't stay in the regular class. But that was the one flaw that I really hated myself about. And I don't know why I was so hell bent on not people finding out about that part about me.
Because in high school, it's brutal. Like, they don't talk about you ruthlessly. I'm gonna have all the anti-bullying rules and restrictions, like the kids have now. Like back then, you get bullied ruthlessly, like all day, every day. That was probably something that impacted that.
And then I look at the other kids that was in regular classes, but some of them just didn't care about their classes. Like, they didn't care about getting good grades. But I was the opposite, even though I had that learning disability, if you wanted to say that, for lack of better words. I don't feel like I was real dumb, but I felt like I knew I had a disability, and I didn't want people to see that, because if they saw that, then they would make me, like you said. But as I became older, I started to learn that yes, I have a learning disability. People can't see that because I talk educated. I did a lot of tutoring classes. I worked on myself. But I think that was one of my biggest flaws when I was in high school. I didn't want people to find that out, so I stayed educated. I read all the class books. I even went one step further, where they wanted me to go in this one math class, wanted me to stay at the bottom, and I said no, I'm not doing that. And they had to literally take me out of that, because I actually eventually tested out of that class, because I was beyond that. So they had to let me go. They had to let me go into the other class with the regular kids. So
and that's how you overcame it. And that's what we're talking about here today, is how you overcome those flaws. So flaws in you are sticking with that, because some people would just be like, oh, that's me, like that's just how I am, and let that affect the rest of your life. Instead, you took that on, that challenge, acknowledgement. The first way to overcome a flaw, to acknowledge it, take on as a challenge, found resources and people that can help, and you built little circles of people who were there to support, and then you overcame it over hard work and time, because I'm sure it wasn't overnight, right? It wasn't like, oh, that's what we thought.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot of hard work and dedication, a lot of tutoring classes. I did everything I could so I could be on their on my, the equal like you see in the regular. You wouldn't even know anything was wrong with me when I did all that work really hard.
So how many years would you say of hard work that work?
7 years. 7 years from middle school to high school. It was horrible. Like, I don't want anybody to find out.
So when you were a senior, were you still dealing with this?
No, I was really smart at that.
Okay.
I was really smart. I remember this date. I remember this vividly. It was one of my peers. She got mad because she got a 90% on her test, and I got a 98%. And the teacher would always compare us. And little did she know that I still had kind of the learning disability in place, but it wasn't as strong as what I was.
It's because you know it's there, so you can overcompensate for it.
Yeah. And she would get so mad because I would always outscore her. And I didn't think of myself as a competition person like that. I wasn't trying to do it for her, like for anybody else's benefit. I wanted to really get better at it myself, like get better at that flaw that I was enduring. And I felt like, for the most part, because people did see me as smart already, they never saw me less than. But I think if they knew, I don't know if that even would have changed if they knew the situation that I was in. I think they probably would have still always thought I was smart because I was always raising my hand, I was always participating.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would have even changed if they had the whole situation.
let's use that, and let's use that to talk about something that would affect the current adult right now. So like, if you had a learning disability, or you were just, it took you longer to pick up certain things, and now you're in the workplace, and things are changing. Let's say you're a car mechanic, right? And you work at a mechanic garage, or you work for one of the big Ford or Chrysler, something like that. Things are changing, right? With EVs. So you feel like, man, I know how to do conventional gas-powered engines, and now they got these new ones coming in. You're trying to teach us, but I'm not really that smart at picking up stuff. That's real life could be affecting some people right now. And Lewis gave them the key to overcome that, right? Acknowledge it at first. Find a support system, and then hard work.
Work really as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people will use their, I guess, circumstances. Oh, I wasn't smart enough, or I wasn't this and that. And they hold on to that, and they don't never try to change for the better. But I think everybody, no matter what flaw you have, no matter what you're going through in your life, I think everybody can overcome anything if they put their mind to, no matter how big or small it is. It's just about you willing to work hard for yourself and not caring about what other people think.
We need change, but we chase the pounds and